Hello, everyone. I hope you are safe and sound these days in your countries and time zones. So, hello, Mike. How are you today?
Hi, Dan. Doing great, thanks.
Great. So, let me first introduce myself. I'm Dan, head of sales at Pushwoosh.
And I'm Mike, head of product here at Pushwoosh as well.
Yeah. So, today's topic is how to become a high achiever with segmentation and cross-channel campaigns. So don't be afraid of word Pushwoosh Advanced. We tried to do our webinar as much simple as possible, but still at some point maybe we will need to jump into some great details. So let me explain the timing. We will start from the reasons why we actually decided to make this webinar, the business cases and the problems behind it. I hope it will be like 10 minutes. Then we will jump into the platform and the segmentation in practice. We will cover such topics like tags, segments, and conventional and visual segmentation in Pushwoosh with Journey Builder. Then Mike will take a lead and tell you about cross-channel communications. He will cover such topics like channel reachability, events, wait for event element in the Journey Builder, and our new functionality webhooks element, also in Journey Builder, and a set tags element. Then we will have a session for 20 minutes of questions and answers. So please feel free to ask any questions in the live chat in YouTube. And we also got some questions prior to our webinar from our existing customers. The topic was very actually exciting. So I hope we collect all these questions and we'll be ready to answer to them during this session.
So, yeah, and by the way, guys, this webinar is not yet another marketing webinar. There will be a lot of tips and tricks. So take notes and ask questions in the end.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoy the show and let's start. Well, once again, the reason why we decided to make this webinar is that for the last couple of years, there is a buzzing around multi-channel, omni-channel, cross-channel marketing communications and their importance for the marketers and for the users and customers. So almost all marketing-related events, conferences, and webinar like ours put so much attention to it, and marketers seems very happy with it, very exciting, and so on. On the other hand, people hate it because if you see any studies, researches, topics, and so on, people believe that brands communicate a lot in the different channels with completely irrelevant messages, and the situation is going to be even worse in the future. So year by year, we have the same story. So does it seem some kind of controversial to you, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. Funny thing is that even if you use all available channels, still it doesn't mean your communication is relevant and useful for your users.
Yeah, but why actually our communications are not relevant? Is it about just the wrong text or images in these messages?
Well, it can be, of course, but it's obvious that the content is wrong when it goes to the wrong person at the wrong moment of time. So the problem is not only in the content itself, but also in understanding user behavior and habits. That means that some of the brands simply don't know their users or do not have proper solution to officially target their audience.
Yeah, and actually what it happens, the modern multi-channel marketing actually became not a problem, but actually I would say it's not a cure, but a wrong medicine for that worsens the illness. Because actually you just bomb your customers with messages in more channels, with a more quantity of messages, with irrelevant content. And that means that actually you increase the possibilities that irrelevant messages will be seen or heard, which is a problem.
Yeah, I completely agree on that. And one another thing is that when you add new channels to your marketing strategy, well, basically you pay for them. And when we just send a lot of messages that are not relevant to your users, it means that you kill your own brand with your own hands.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, when you look at the results of our customers who actually embedded the excellent segmentation in cross-channel, they see a huge increase in click-through rates, in conversion rate to specific events like orders for e-commerce or subscriptions for the B2B SaaS. So actually, it works, and even more. With the cross-channel marketing which combined with excellent segmentation, you can actually use your marketing budget efficiently because you don't pay for your unnecessary communication. So let me give you an example. For every 100,000 of your users, if you run like 3 campaigns per month, and the campaigns looks like app push notification, in-app, then web push, then email, and finally, as a last chance channel, the most expensive channel is SMS. And of course, you want our SMS will be the same engaging like web push or app push or anything. You will put here picture. That means actually that during the month you send 600,000 push notifications, 300,000 in-apps, same amount of emails, and the same amount of SMS. And considering the fact that in the United States, the cost of SMS with picture is around 2 cents, you actually add into your marketing budget like $6,000 per month. And let's imagine that on every stage of this journey, you can track some events that you need, like a subscription or order. And if this event is happening, you can stop the communication and get rid of, let's say, 50% of such unnecessary communications here, expensive communications. So you can actually save like $3,000 per month. So where it was 6, it's going to be 3. That means that you actually this value is comparable with the monthly cost of the total customer engagement platform here. So that's actually how you can calculate your ROI from the right cross-channel marketing communications and can sell it to your board. So actually, considering all this, we would like to show you our best practices in segmentation, which will be my part, and in the cross-channel campaigns, which is going to be led by Mike a little bit later. Yeah. But actually, before we start, let me explain the business case that we decided to take as a sample. As you know, maybe our demo application Pushon represents like fashion retailer. So we decided to take these use cases for demo simplicity, but of course, the same principles of the segmentation you can use for any industry. So let's imagine that I'm a marketer of fashion, global multi-brand retailer. I have a mobile application and a website where actually my users purchase goods. And I also collect email addresses and numbers to send them SMS and emails. And together with this, I also collect the opt-ins to receive messages in such channels. So recently, I found out that my group users from Latin American countries who age between 25 and 44 years old and who prefer to purchase United States premium brands have many similarities with another group from Southern Europe, aged between 15 and 24 years old, and who prefer to purchase European premium brands. So I want to target them with the campaign, which focused on increase of premium brand sales. And for that, during my segmentation, I need to realize the following formula: segment 1 and segment 2 and segment 3, or segment 4 and segment 5 and segment 6, which is not a complicated, but still some kind of a challenge. So that is my first use case. And the second use case, I would like to use so-called RFM analysis and to target my high available customers. So basically what RFM analysis is, I'm sure that many of people, so if somebody from e-com here, know what it is, but actually it combines such factors of user behavior like recency, is how recent the last purchase made by this particular user, frequency, how many orders per given period of time this user made, and monetary, like how much money did the user spend during the same period of time. So actually, for the sake of simplicity, we decided that we will use like the full lifetime value for monetary and the full lifetime for the orders quantity. So every factor has 5 scores groups from 5 to 1, where 5 is the best one and the 1 is the worst. And my analysis shows me that the group 5, the best one, is the users who made less purchase not more than 14 days ago. For orders quantity, I prefer the best case for my e-com is when users make more than 10 purchases. And in terms of lifetime value, I prefer to target users who spend more than $500. So actually, by that, I have a best segment 555. My next segment is 545, and the last one is segment 554. So I would like to target my users from the segments, any of the segments, and combine them with users who purchase United States premium brands, Italian premium brands, and French premium brands. So basically, I need to realize controversial formula, segment 1 or segment 2 or segment 3, and segment 4 or segment 5 or segment 6. That's actually what we basically would like to do in the Pushwoosh platform, in control panel and a journey builder. So let's start. Let me just jump into the first formula because we maybe need to come back to it just to remember. And now we are now in the control panel of Pushwoosh. And before I can segment my users, first of all, I need to add some attributes to every of my user to make it happen. So I need to build it first. So for the regional segment, I will use tag country, our default tag, which is defined automatically by the user's device location. I have tag user age for actually understanding how old my users are. And I also built some custom tags, preferences in brands, category, colors, or size. To target brands, we will use this tag. For RFM segments, I will add some tags for unit economics like average order value, customer acquisition cost, lifetime, LTV, and order quantity. So for RFM segments, I will use unit economics, LTV, and orders quantity. And in addition, I built some tags for channels to store email addresses and email opt-ins from my customers that they're ready to receive from me emails. And same for numbers and SMS for be able to send them SMS as well. And also I built the tag channel not reachable for users who don't provide me with any opt-ins in any channels. And later, Mike will show you how can he update this tag from the journey builder. You may wonder what app-specific and user-specific tags is. So let me just create a new tag for you. Preferences color. And you see, in Pushwoosh account, you can have more than one application. And some tags, actually default tags like device, model, city, country, application version, and so on. They can be used in any application. They are basically default tags. But for example, if as a e-com company, I have a side project for mobile wallets, financial projects, and tag preferences color is not relevant for this side project. So I don't need to use them inside the other applications. In that case, I can make this tag app specific. So it belongs to only my e-com application. And on the next level, I can make any app specific tag user specific. What does that mean? For example, I have a user with 5 devices, 2 mobile phones, 1 tablet, and 2 laptops with different browsers, 1 Chrome and second Safari, for example. And all those devices are united by one user with one user ID. And for example, tag colors, it doesn't relate it with device actually, because if I am as a e-com customer prefer to buy red or white colors, well, I actually, it doesn't matter what device I use for it. So it's just a tag which can be used for all devices together. So you can make this tag user specific. And when next time you need to update this tag with colors red or white, you can put it once and it's going to be updated for all devices of that particular user, which is very convenient for use. And then, of course, tags can have different value types, like integer, string, and the one of my lovely, it's actually my favorite, sorry, it's a list. List is very convenient to use to store several values of the same meaning. Like, for example, for colors, I cannot store just one value red, because I prefer red and yellow color of the where. In that case, I can update this tag with both or even more values separated by comma. And then later I can show you how I can use it in my segmentation. Okay, so I won't save this tag because I already have it. And now it's time to jump to actually segments. Okay, to speed up the process, I already have all the segments created and opened. So here is a list of my segments. I can create it here using build segment button. I can also import segment using CSV files, and even update all tags using import CSV. That can be shown later if you want. So first of all, I need to create regional segment. People from Latin American countries. So how can I can do it? I can use tag country and logical operators, for example, is, and select some specific country here. Let it be Brazil. Then I can do the same for the second one, for the third one, and so on, and combine them with logical operator or. However, for countries, there is a more convenient way to do it, and for all other, because here I can use another logical operator R, and if I try to add country one by one, I can put here this operator and can choose several countries in that way, and in that case, save time for myself. Of course, in addition to countries as a tag, I can add any other tag and combine them with operator or, like, I don't know, device model, gender, language, anything. It's also possible. It's just not necessary for my particular use case. So I build a segment of countries. Next, I need to build a segment for ages. So I will use integer type user age tag. I will use operator between 25 and 44 years old. Of course, I can use any other operators for that. That's it for this tag. Then we can go to the brand preferences. So as I explained before, preferences in brands, it's actually list type tag. So here I can put any of the possible brands here in that way, and later if some of our users purchase goods from Tommy Hilfiger or Ralph Lauren or Gap, I don't need to have all the values. If any of these values are in this segment, this user will jump into the segment also. One or several of these values of this tag of the user. So the next one, next segment is RFM segment. For that, I need to use tag less enough purchase date, exactly or less 14 days ago. I could put here date, some specific dates, but of course it's not so convenient for me in that way. So I will use this this operator, and I combine them with operator with logical operator and with quantity of orders, which greater or equal 10, and with LTV greater or equal $500. So there's a last segment which I need as a marketer in my tasks, but there is also another segment I want to build. Actually, I want to use some segments which to understanding channel reachability. This is actually mostly for Mike in his communication flow. So users with SMS enabled is a segment where channel phone number is any, and you also could put here some mask for phone number, not to send SMS to phone numbers which actually don't exist. And channel SMS opt-in is true. So I received opt-in from the user to receive SMSs. So that's pretty much it with segments. We have all that we have that we need to do, but then we need to build the formula. And that's actually, let's say that this traditional or conventional way of building segments is the first level of segmentation in Pushwoosh. Second, the higher level of segmentation is what we call visual segmentation with journey builder. And it provides you with more visibility and flexibility. I will explain it why it is. So actually, Here is my command for this structure. By the way, commands is very convenient to use to explain to yourself and to your colleagues what does this particular part of the journey doing. So this structure realizes my formula, and to realize this formula, I need two simple elements from the Pushwoosh Journey Builder. First of all is start segment, and second one is segment splitter. Just two simple segments. So the start segment, what it is? Actually, what I need to do here is just to choose specific region, segment, regions LATAM. And as soon as I activate my journey here, all users which belongs to this segment will start to receive communication. We start the journey, and maybe they will receive communication if other conditions will be fulfilled. But what if I don't want to start this journey not now, but later, somewhere later in the future? To that, we have a great option, scheduled lunch. So first of all, you can make this journey recurring, same like recurrent push in the control panel, every week, every day, every month, custom period, and so on. Or you can specify some specific date in the future, one or, for example, many. And in that case, this journey will start in this particular date. So you can ask me, but what happens in that case if this date will come and my users will start to receive messages late in the night? So to manage this, you have here silent hours, where you can add some, where you can put some actually silent hours for your push notifications. Defined by the user's device time zone, and then you can choose particular channels. You can choose one channel or all channels for the silent hours. Now, the segment splitter element is it is even more simpler because you just need to put here a specific segment, and that's it. You don't have to do nothing with this more like that. Now, how does this visual segmentation work? So users from Latin American countries goes to the next element in the journey. If they are in a segment of age between 25 and 44, they go to the next segment splitter. If they prefer to purchase United States premium brands, they are transferring to the communication. If any of these segment splitters are not valid, so it's not true, they are not belong to the segment, they're simply exiting the journey. So by this structure, I realized simple structure 1 and 2 and 3. And then the same structure realized here for people from Southern Europe. So actually, I realized both conditions. And because they both conditions goes to the communications, by that I realized logic OR, which is much more, which is actually what I need to do according to my task. And you now maybe wonder, but I could realize the same logic and 1 and 2 and 3 segments using this part, like combine people from some countries with the age and with the brand preferences. Yes, actually, I could do this in that way. But why we call this segmentation visual? Not just because we're doing it visually, but it also provides you the visibility. How does your users drifting from one segment to another? Because when you activate the journey, you will see all the statistics here and every connection. And for example, you can get some insights, like this particular segment or that particular segment reduces the quantity of users so much that it's not interesting for you to run these campaigns. And if I build these segments here in one way, you won't see this visibility. So this is a great way how to see how your users actually drifting in this particular journey between segments. That's we prefer to use our segmentation when we build some journeys for our customers. Okay, so here it's about the first use case, but we have also another one. So to realize the more controversial formula, I just need to start journeys from any of the segments. My best time valuable segments 555, second valuable segment, and the third valuable segment, and connect them to one segment splitter. And then logic makes in the following way. If any of the segments are at the same time in United States premium brand segment, it goes to the communication. If not, it goes to the second segment splitter, and if they are preferred to purchase French premium, they also go to the communication. If not, the third segment splitter also drives users from Italian premium to the communications. If any of these segment splitter conditions are not fulfilling, we just exiting the journey in that case. So by that, we realize this complex formula of segmentation, and you actually can communicate with the chosen user. So both tasks are done. So now Mike will tell you how does the communication flows and cross-channel campaigns will help you to realize my tasks on the future place. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks, Dan. This was a really advanced way how you can segment your audience using Pushwoosh. As I mentioned, this is not another marketing webinar. This is definitely a practical one. So now let me explain how you can use the cross-channel approach along with user behavior messaging using the very same tool, Customer Journey, that I can have on my screen, and how you can, well, connect with the audience that you defined in the previous step. So this is the very same sequence of messages. So we've defined the audience. Now we need to define the channel that we will use to connect with them. And for this, as I mentioned, we have an option how to define whether or not we can reach the user with a particular channel. So the first channel that I will try to use is push notifications. And I will check whether or not I can even able to reach my users with push notification channel in my particular app. Oh, sorry. Let's go back into the sequence of messages. So I will do this using the tag that Dan showed previously, the reachability check, and I already have a well-made segment of users with push enabled. So for those users that have push notification enabled, I'll be able to connect with them using push notifications. For those who don't, I will send an in-app message. Just to make sure that you understand what the in-app and push notification channels are. So push notifications is the way how you can connect with the user outside the app, while in-app message is a way how to connect with the user while this user is inside the app. So I will briefly show you how the in-app message looks like. So here I have this simple formula of choosing the right reach media, basically the message that I will send to my user. And here inside the app, I will show an in-app banner for 40% discount for Christmas sale. So it's like a couple of days before Christmas now. So I think it could be useful for you to send similar in-app banner to get more revenue from your audience. Still, I think that the most interesting part and the branch for us right now is push notifications. So here I have this first touch message, basically the first step for me to connect with my audience. And I already have the content for these push notifications predefined here. But as you remember, we have like several regions, like in several languages like French and English and so on. So how can we send the message for different people, different regions at one step? So easy. Let me jump into the Pushwoosh control panel where I have this content on my screen. So first of all, this is a message that I will send to my users. 30% discount, personalization, so each user will receive personalized message with a name in it, pretty image to catch user attention. So seems all set here, but a very important thing is that we can send the message not only using personalization with tags, but also with the languages. Meaning, for example, we have like French, Spanish, and English languages. And currently, I have only Spanish active here. In case I'd like to target users in several countries, for example, I can enable several languages. So the list of languages is the list of languages you have in your base. So, for example, if you have users across like 100 countries with 100 languages, all of them will be in place here. So for my case, I will select Spanish, language, and French. And for each language, I can have specific content, like with specific wording, specific names, and so on. Basically, this way you don't need to send 3 different messages to 3 different regions. You can just create one content for one step and use it in the sequence of messages. So yeah, we have a content, but what about user behavior? On this step, we can control and track whether or not this particular message with the images, with the translation, with the personalization was opened by my user. And based on the logic of this push, whether or not it was opened or ignored, I can plan my next steps. So I can track this and control it like for 7 days or hours or minutes. So in my case, this is 1 minute, just for the simplicity, but still you can do this with 1 day or like several hours. And after like the push was successfully opened by a user, I will be tracking a specific event to happen. Well, in my case, in case of promotion for a specific product that I have, it will be checkout success event, meaning that successful purchase. In case my user ignored push notification, I can try to reach this user with different channel. So let me deep dive into the event tracking functionality before moving into another channel. So you can see here that I'm waiting for the checkout success event to happen for 1 minute. But what we mean by that? So we have a checkout success event configured in our Pushwoosh account along with the mobile app. And we wait not only for any purchase to happen, but in our particular case, we wait for the purchase of particular items to happen. Well, this is some kind of our conversion goal, meaning that is a target action that we're waiting. And our next step communication will be based on whether or not this event has happened. Of course, as an e-commerce brand, I have so many events that I can use in my communication. So on my screen currently, you can see the events tab in my Pushwoosh control panel, where I have such events as first purchase, add to cart, cart click, checkout success, discount purchase, well, like tons of them. Each of these events can be used as a part of your marketing strategy. You can target those users who left like category page in your app. You can send promotional or upsell push notification to those users that completed the purchase. Any of these events can be touch point for your marketing communication strategy, and well, you can carefully plan it on your site, implement it into the app, and use it in the customer journey product. So for my case, I'm waiting for checkout success to happen for 1 minute. Again, it could be like 1 hour or 1 day or even 90 days. So there's a really long period of time you can wait for specific action to happen after you perform the communication with a specific user. So what happened next is really based on whether or not my user completes the purchase. So in case this user completes the purchase, meaning that I do not need to send this user additional notification, I do not need to spend more money on SMS or email, I do not need to bombard this particular user with the messages, I will just simply complete the journey, meaning that there will be no additional communication prompting this user to complete the purchase because this user has already purchased something from me. Otherwise, I can send a second touch notification. So again, I have this content prepared and so on and so on. But important thing here is that I know that this is not like just a simple notification. This is my second step communication. So the content for this message can be adjusted to the previous one. So again, the discount for 30% and so on. But also based on the user reaction, you can change the text and make it more reliable for the user. But what if my user is completely ignoring my push notifications? In that case, I can try to reach this user with an additional channel. So SMS. Once again, I'm checking the channel reachability. The very same logic, if I have user phone number stored, I can try to reach this particular user with SMS. And I can just take all of the users in my brand's premium segments with phone number available and send them an SMS message with personalization and so on using Pushwoosh. So in our case, we do this with webhook functionality, this third touch step, with an SMS message. So in my case, and we use Twilio, a department, to send messages. So here we have the short message that will be sent to Twilio with the personalization and so on. with your number. So, for example, it will be personalized SMS message with the name of a particular person receiving this message, with a discount, and so on. And for my case, again, it will be the end step. So I will be not trying to reach this person for the first step, fifth, and so on. But still, the number of steps you have in the journey really depends on how persistent you are. What if I'm not able to reach this user? No by push notifications, no by in-apps, and no by SMS. So we still have an option to reach your user with emails. So in our case, we do not uh, send email messages in this particular use case. We just check whether or not we can send a message, because for our use case, emails will be a separate sequence of messages with its own logic inside. But still, again, the very same logic. I check whether or not I'm even able to reach my user, whether or not this user is subscribed to my emails, and so on. Of course, I can add emails as an additional step here, but I won't do that right now. And if I'm able to reach this particular user with emails, we will just simply complete this journey and we'll start another one. Otherwise, we're not able to reach this particular user with any channels we have. So we can just simply mark this particular user as not reachable right inside the journey. So all of the tags that Dan showed you previously, all of them that you have in the console panel, so all of them, you can not only populate them with like maybe uploading CSV files and so on, but you can populate them right inside the journey with the logic that you predefined in the steps. You can set that, for example, any attribute you have, you can set the manually, or you can set it automatically right from the event. So you can track all of the products purchased by a specific user, all of the actions performed, and so on in the text, and you can use this information later on in your segmentation. So really, these are some advanced features that we have that will help you to improve your segmentation and communication as well, and achieve the results that Dan showed you previously. So then I know that you have some suggestion for listeners about segments.
Yes. Well, actually, what I would like to suggest is if you have some very specific segmentations in mind and you want to know how to realize this particular formula, because we just took two cases as a sample. But if you want to realize more complex formulas, please send them to us, or through your customer success manager, or on a sales@pushwoosh.com, and we will make such segmentations, make a screenshots and send it back to you. I think for us it will be a great exercise, because we would understand what are the complex segmentation you are doing, and as well for you, you maybe can save some time and so on. We don't promise that we will build all that we receive, but at least some of this part I'm willing to take to spread between my salespeople, and we'll be glad to realize them, just to show you how it can be work, how you can build it in a visual way in the journey builder.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We're more than happy to try to build all of the segments that come in our audience minds, and look how they will adjust in the Pushwoosh Customer Journey. So I think now we have some time for the Q&A session, right, Dan?
Yeah. So guys, if you have some questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat, so we are here to answer to them.
As we mentioned, we have some questions predefined. So one of them was about using not only wait for event functionality, but also the conversion goals in the journey. And it's an important thing to highlight, because events is not can be used not only to plan the communication flow inside the journey, but also way how you can measure the effectiveness of the journey. Meaning that, for example, we have this checkout success event here. It helps us to define the flow of the message, whether or not I need to send the next step of communication. But also, I know that the main goal of this particular journey, of this particular marketing communication sequence, is to get more purchases from my audience. And how can I track whether or not this journey even effective at all? For this, we have conversion goals functionality. So this is a way how you can track whether or not users perform specific actions that you want them to do. Again, we can use the checkout success event as well. And even for the particular products that you have in your e-commerce store. Again, it could be subscriptions for mobile apps, some specific trainings in the health and fitness apps, and so on. So it's up to you to define the right conversion goal based on the logic and the industry you have. And when you activate the journey and you'll start collecting the data, we'll show you how many times this specific event has happened with the users inside the journey. Meaning that you can be sure that this particular journey affected the effectiveness of your business and get you more money, basically, or moved users down by the funnel, or improve their store ratings and so on, just by tracking whether or not user performs the specific actions you want them to do. So there could be up to 10 conversion goals in each journey. And you can either end journey after the specific event, like complete the journey after checkout success event, because we do not want to send additional communication for this particular users. For example, it could be not only checkout success, but also cart cleared as an end step for me, because in case user deleted the product from the cart, then, okay, we got it. You don't want to buy anything from us. So cart clears will be an end event as well. So for each sequence you may think of, there could be their own events. So just consider this option to track the effectiveness.
Okay, so I have a question. Can we add different SMS services? Well, let me explain it. As a person who worked for 4 years prior to Pushwoosh in the communication platform as a service, I think it's my part of the job to do it according to SMS. Look, well, with SMS, the short answer is yes, you can add different SMS services. But when you're doing it, you need to realize two things. The first one is a technical part, which is possible with some communication platforms, vendors, and so on. And it's possible if their logic can be realized using the webhooks. On the other hand, there is the legal part of the SMS use cases, because it depends in what country you are. There's always some kind of regulations. So before jumping into some use cases, some marketing channels and so on, we all, you and us, need to understand what happens behind these use cases and understand what country we need to, in what country users are. So it always case by case projects when we understand, when we look at the country and the restrictions, provide you with the, some kind of consultations about it. What do you want to do? Like it's one-way communication with SMS, two-way communication is in your use case. Is it possible to realize in your particular country, because every country has their own regulations? And I would say technical part, it's less problematic than the legal one. So every time come to us, to our sales department, and we could provide you with a consultation. Technically, we could find a way to integrate with any some vendors. I also can say that any MarTech vendor actually relies on communication platforms behind SMS. So it always somebody like Twilio, Voximplant, Nage, Exotel, many of them behind it. So yes, it's possible to provide to do it, and just come to us, to sales department, to talk about legal part, which is more important.
Great. Okay. then maybe you have some prepared questions from our customers prior to the webinar. It's like I just received this one about the conversion cost and how to track effectiveness. I can see that no new ones in the chat, so maybe you have some. Start.
No, I haven't. Yeah.
Okay, great. Seems that 8. So just let me.
Okay, so I suppose if there's no other questions, we can stop. I hope you get some useful information, and I hope to see you next time on the other webinar when we maybe jump into some other advanced features that we have. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And by the way, you can reach us whenever you would like us to answer your questions. We are always really glad to help you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.